we're back, dear viewers. In the age of globalization, translation has become more than just transfer of words from one language to another. It is a vital bridge connecting cultures, economies, sciences, and politics in a world of accelerating global interaction. In an interconnected world like ours, translation is no longer just a profession. It has become a strategic and cultural necessity. It is a tool that enables the world to understand, develop, and coexist despite differences. To discuss the importance of translation in the age of globalization, we're pleased to have with us Dr. Asmaa Alduhaim, Assistant Professor of Translation at GUST. So good morning, Dr. Asmaa. We are very glad and happy to have you here in Good Morning Kuwait.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course, indeed. So starting off, what is translation in the age of globalization?
Well, today translation can take a different side to it. Before, we used to know translation as in it's just written words from one language to another, mainly to translate books. But now you can see it everywhere: signs, leaflets, even on social media, like the website, the post. So everyone is now using translation in a way or another in so many different ways, rather than the technical old-style way.
Definitely, indeed. And what are the most important roles of translation in various fields in our contemporary world?
Nowadays, a translator is considered a jack of all trades, to be honest. So when you are a translator, you have to be equipped with so many different skills. You have to know different things that you can add on to your translation, especially related to technology, especially nowadays. So a translator can actually not just translate word, but can know the culture. You have to know about the place that you're working in. If you're translating a novel, you have to know about the background of the author, so you can actually translate the words, because now translation is not just to convey the message, it's rather to create the same effect that you have on the previous language that you used. So it's a range of sets of skills that you have to be equipped in to basically be able to transfer the message.
Yes, indeed, and it's definitely amazing to see how translation can actually do all of that. And in your opinion also, how can translation be a reflect of human interaction?
It's basically in the small little things that we see, because words or language is basically a production of a human, someone who wrote those words. If it's a novel, and novels are considered one of the mostly translated genres in the world, novels are generally someone else's ideas, someone else's thoughts, someone else's culture. So when it is translated into another language, that's a reflection of their own words, that's a reflection of their culture, that's a reflection of their human interaction. And we see that a lot in so many different fields. Like when you see something translated from one language to another, sometimes we struggle because we want to convey the same message that the author has and to create the same effect that the author actually has.
Yes, of course, and especially talking about globalization. So how has globalization changed the nature of translation?
It's basically now more demand for translators. There are more demand for translations, and before it might be, two sets of languages, 3 languages, but now we have so many different sets of languages because of the globalization and because of the need, whether in the commercial side or in the political side or even in the touristic side. Even in transferring knowledge, usually before it was mainly English, but now we have so many different languages that we translate from. So it has a whole, it's like it connected the world all together.
Yes, indeed, this is definitely true. We have spoken previously about, globalization and how can translation actually bring, the society and one community together. Let's talk now about the challenges. So what are the challenges of translation in the era of globalization? Is artificial intelligence a friend or competitor to translation in this, in this matter?
Yeah, I would say that, we have a tool that we can actually use, and AI now is a tool that we can use to assist us. But at the end of the day, the thing that I always say is that it's basically what we feed it.
Yeah.
So it will not really know all the information that we're thinking of, that we can perceive from whatever we're reading. So at the end of the day, we can actually use AI. We can employ it within our strategies of translation. We can have its assistant, but we can never depend on it fully, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really think like we think. So you can be creative, but AI cannot be creative. You can know the context in which the text exists, but AI doesn't know the context.
Yes.
And these are the differences that we can actually use AI rather than just, you know, say, I'm not going to use it, it's not for me.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it's a tool that you can use, so why not?
Yes, of course. And I know we did talk off air about, you know, the AI being
Yes.
a, you know, competitor, especially nowadays. And fortunately, some people are not using it to their benefit. Also, Dr. Asmaa, translation studies are no longer limited to linguistic aspects alone. So rather, they encompass a wide range of specialization that includes new skills. So what are the most prominent of these?
To be honest, now the most prominent skills when you are using translation, when we are in the field of translation, is technology. Because even for interpreters who are actually interpreting in the booth, a while ago you only have your brain and, you know, the mic, and that's it, and maybe like a glossary list of terminologies. But nowadays you have AI as well. You can actually have like an iPad, and then, you know, you can see the translation or the interpretation, and then you can easily interpret. So it actually gives you a heads up rather than, you know, just thinking yourself. Also the CAT tools, which is a software that we use as translators to build up a translation memory. So if you are translating similar text later on in the future, it will save you a huge lot of time. So instead of spending 1 hour, you'll be spending half an hour. All these small little technical issues that we basically suffer from, like the spelling, you know, in Arabic we have specific characteristics of Arabic language. All of these issues will be solved when you're using CAT tools, when you are using speller checkers and stuff like that. So technology now assists us a lot, and it's actually a good help, and it's one of the prominent tasks for translators to actually get better into using technology.
Yes, indeed. And you know, since you've mentioned all of these different tools like spelling checkers, sometimes even grammar checkers, so would you believe they are you know, somewhat as a benefit to their users, or would they work as you know, a non-benefit, or sometimes you know, affecting the student into just making things simpler or easier without the actual person getting to learn you know, the actual grammar or spelling? So what do you think, in your opinion?
I think it's really important for the students, or for, you know, the translators in general, to actually know the rule, because sometimes at the end of the day it's a machine. Sometimes the machine won't really know what exactly is required of it, or the context. And you know, sometimes how we have dialogues which are translated completely different than a standardized language. A dialect, a colloquial language is different than a standardized language. So sometimes you intentionally have these errors, whether spelling or whether it's a grammar mistake. AI will fix it. Artificial intelligence will fix it, because that's not right. But you need it there because you are trying to produce something that is similar to the source text language. So all of these skills are really important, but it is really important for us to know how to work without AI, without technology. But if it makes your life easier, because it will make you work less hours, then go for it, but not depend fully on it.
Depend fully on it, of course. Especially now with AI being available, it is really important to use it to your benefit and not, you know, fully depend on it, as you've previously mentioned, that you know, it cannot be as creative as us humans.
Exactly.
Also, Dr. Asmaa, what are the modern trends in translation studies nowadays?
To be honest, we have so many different trends, just like any other fields in the world. But one of the mainly used trends now is to embed AI within the CAT tools. As I mentioned before, CAT tools are basically a very important tool that saves the translation time, the translator's time. It saves up a lot of glossaries. So with the assistance of AI, you are now easily generating text using your own text that you have previously translated. So AI not only generates text from you know, the language that they have basically embedded in within the world, it uses your own language.
Yes.
It uses your own style. So you know how sometimes we generate the essay and then we add our own touches on it. AI does that for you when you are using that specific software that I was talking about. So it uses your personal touch because it learns that personal touch from that software, and then it basically can embed that into the text. This is one of the tools that we really recommend a lot for translators nowadays to learn, because it is really widely used now.
Yes, definitely, indeed. As you've mentioned, you know, AI does use your special touches and try to include it in your, you know, your project or your essay. And also, some of nowadays, some of these schools are using AI, you know, to students. Sometimes introducing it to, you know, go back to AI, whether you need to check a spelling mistake, check a grammar mistake. Sometimes it even does the whole translation for you.
That's correct.
So what are your thoughts about this?
To be honest, if it's a scientific text, it might be easily generated through AI, but I wouldn't say use AI to translate the whole text, because there has to be some issues in there, whether it's an issue with the context itself or with the language itself, because sometimes it uses archaic language, sometimes it uses language that has not really been used, or terms that are not really widely common in the language that we were translating to. But at the end of the day, what we do is, if there is a sentence that you cannot really formulate right, so you translate the sentence and you see that there are issues with the sentence, I can feed it into AI to basically help me phrase it better. I can ask AI what is the mostly common terms for this word, so I can see and then compare. To me, AI is a tool of search rather than a tool of producing the final product. So I use it to ask it to basically help me search, you know, save time instead of reading different websites and resources. It just gives me the gist and the summary.
Yes, indeed. And since you've mentioned, you know, saving time, it is definitely something really important nowadays with a very fast-paced life.
Exactly.
So if you recall, we did use the dictionaries and encyclopedias about, you know, searching a certain word or, you know, the definition of a certain word. Is this really useful nowadays, or has, with AI, you know, being available to everyone, and with it being, you know, reachable to everyone here, has this actually, you know, excluded the use of dictionaries, encyclopedias?
I would say maybe, because I can't really give a certain answer, because a lot of, I see it in the classrooms, honestly. I see that when sometimes I, like, you know, turn off the Wi-Fi and I say, okay, now it's time for you to use a dictionary. Students really are not equipped with the knowledge to use the dictionary. They can't look up a word in the dictionary, because they're used to just typing the word, and in a fraction of a second you will see the words and its different meanings. So they don't want to use the dictionary because it's a waste of time. But one time, you know, the Wi-Fi was off. Something happened in the university. I don't know what, and just, you know, the Wi-Fi just went off for an hour, and the students had an exam, and I was like, see, it's your time now to use a dictionary. So I think it's really important to know how to use it, but it's not as practical as it was before, because if you want two dictionaries, like English, Arabic, and Arabic English, and it's a dictionary is like usually this big, you don't want to walk around with the dictionary and look for it. But if it's, you know, if you can use AI or your phone, it will be easier. But sometimes we actually need it to go back to it for specific details that are needed, so it's always there.
It's always there, definitely. And of course, you've mentioned something very precious, I would say, to, you know, having this as a, you know, as a source to going back to it, because even nowadays some people tend to forget, you know, writing. So handwriting, everything is through text. So when, you know, you try to go ahead and use the old method of searching or writing instead of typing, it is something really appreciated. And from here, we would like to thank you, Dr. Asmaa, for being here with us in Good Morning Kuwait. And to our dear viewers, all thanks and appreciation to our guest, Dr. Asmaa Alduhaim, Assistant Professor of Translation at the University. So for now, let's go ahead and take a short break, and we will be right back.